I'm Lola.
And I'm Mamuna. Together, we've a combined 35 years of experience within the tech scene in North America and Europe.
We talk about the highs, the lows, the WTFs of navigating the technology industry and answer your questions about navigating tech careers.
This is Lost in Tech. How are we doing?
Hyped. We're hyped. We're hyped.
Hyped. I like this.
I'm still trying not to do the singing on the show thing, but like the body moves and it's like music.
Girl.
And
Sing.
Do you know, so I do not subscribe to self-diagnosis of anything with social media. However, I did have a very deep and meaningful conversation with my husband the other day where I was trying to understand what it's like when your head has silence. Because I never experienced that.
Always have music.
There is a permanent music track, but that's one of like 5 at any given point. And he was like, no, I have thoughts, but sometimes I just like push them away.
There's nothing.
So, apparently. And I'm like, dude, what magical world do you live in? Like,
wow.
That must be bliss. I know. So anyway. There is always a song. There is always
I agree.
And so when I'm dancing and it's whatever, that song is just in the front.
It's playing in there. Yes, it's playing. It's a good thing.
And sometimes there are 2 songs, but anyway. How are you?
I'm good. Things are good. Life, summer, breathing, happy, thankful, all the things that should be things.
Can we do a shout out? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say one thing we never do that we should learn to do is to say to our listeners,
yes,
we appreciate you and we hope you appreciate us. And as part of that, our ask is that you, share,
like and subscribe.
Yeah, but sharing is caring,
like share. And we appreciate you more because you're growing despite maybe what could be a lack of active marketing on our side. Yes. But we appreciate the audience. And we appreciate those of you who are friends who let us know that you're listening in as well. Hey, folks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello.
Thank you. Yes. Like and subscribe.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to do another short one today, aren't we? Mm-hmm. And the topic that I want us to talk about is this film that I just watched, which came out this year, but I missed the hype at the time. I watched it last weekend, and it's called Mountainhead.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, so before I go into the thing, we're going to dedicate a few minutes as a group, and we're going to watch the trailer for this.
Okay,
because
let's do it.
I would love to hear your reaction to even just the trailer for the film.
Okay.
Tell you any more about it. We're just gonna watch the trailer
and watch it. All right.
Magical editing to make this work. Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, Mamuna. What are your thoughts?
You know what's interesting?
Process that trailer.
I think this is one of those movies where I don't know if I could watch it because I feel like it's too real. Like, dude, I don't. Like it's a story, but it feels real. Like it feels like that is something that could happen because those characters aren't far from founders. Like it's not, I shouldn't generally say founders generally, but like, it's not far.
I had to pause and walk so many times during this film. And I think it was incredibly well done. So let's shout out to the creators, shout out to HBO for funding it. I'm really hoping, maybe some of the people it was sending up actually also funded it because it was very good at building caricatures of them. So I will say that, like, it's not like there's anyone I know who I felt I was watching in this. In this film. However, they captured some things that was so crucially relevant that shook me. I was shooketh. And I think one of them, and I'll share this because I had a really detailed conversation after I watched the film, is there is this really dangerous sense of intellectual superiority in tech. At the same time as this complete ability to dispassionately distance ourselves
That's
from
exactly what I
the
was going to say.
implications of
Yes.
somehow being smarter than everyone and putting
But none of
software
the
out there that
consequences.
apparently is good for the world, but the world is maybe too stupid to realize it, which is why the implications are on them and not on the software builders. And
Yes.
again, this isn't like any one company I've ever worked at or any one
Yeah.
person that I feel personifies this, but it really picked up on a tone and a way of conversations that feel really resonant. I see it creeping into the way people talk about things sometimes. And
Yeah.
I can only project that in, the hallowed rooms of the very few number of, frankly, men in tech who have acquired that level of wealth, that's probably like a times 10, right? Like it's like whatever I've heard is probably amplified when they're all together. At the same time, I was like, why are there no women in that room? Why aren't they, talking to, women? Why are there no other people in there? And I don't even think this is like an equality thing. I think
No.
the other thing that the film captures really well is this is probably the same energy that you would see in like, the top tier NBA basketball team.
As I say, the locker room.
It's the
It's
locker
like
room.
feeding off each other, the energy,
Absolutely. In a way that testosterone uniquely contributes to
pump
this
each other up.
bro, like whoo, energy and like doing all sorts of nonsense because you're kind of you're using your intellect and your ability to do this thing to do that. And I think anybody who's at the top of their game in any industry, any discipline, any sport has sacrificed elements of their humanity to be where they are.
Yeah.
The difference between an NBA sports person of the year and maybe one of these tech CEOs is, as the film sends up, playing ball really well usually doesn't result in people believing fake generative content and killing each other for it.
Yes. Yes.
So,
But what you'll find there is that people will, like, I think even in how you hear people talk about technology today, there is this sort of like aspiration, like this is what it could do. This is what it will likely do. This is how it'll save. But there is no open communication on the other side of that, right? So and I almost feel like there's a fear or there's a unwillingness to even touch that side because I'm not accountable for that side.
We do that just all the time.
Else?
It's like who is accountable for it? And again, I think we've said it many times on this podcast. Like you and I we try and lead and operate in a way where we can sleep at night with our own ethics,
like
ethical design, ethical intentions. And I genuinely believe that I can be financially very successful and very aligned to things that benefit humanity. I do not believe that those two things are in conflict. But I think what the film gave me the ick about my industry is that the folks who have created the companies and the cultures that we work for do see that conflict and choose to ignore it.
I think,
and I'm like, I hope I never actually work for somebody like any of those four men in that film because, they're convincing themselves that they're doing it for the good of humanity, even if it means 75% of humans have to die, but the 25% are part of the new world future and it's for the greater good. I'm like,
I used to listen to the All In podcast a lot. Have you ever listened to them?
A couple of times.
And previously, I don't even know like when previously was started, but I used to like listening to them because I thought that they gave some interesting insights on the tech news, updates, like ways of thinking. And more, I think they start to really like almost have that like locker room sort of like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that competitive sport, but also now getting bigger than themselves and almost trying to like jostle each other.
Yeah.
And I stopped listening to them. I could no longer contribute to them with my time because I no longer aligned with their ways of thinking. Not to say that I always aligned with, but I at least felt like they were giving something informational, educational. And at this point, I feel like most of their content is is disconnected.
Yeah.
It's in their own bubble.
This is actually the danger, right? I think that we face with especially when we talk about generalized tech, in that it does have a unique culture. It does have a set of actors, individuals, a way of being that I do think alienates a lot of people. Yeah. And I think the problem with that alienation is we opt out. We self-exclude ourselves from the conversation. And if you're going to put two people next to each other, one who is willing to do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
No matter what it is. And that is kind of what is represented, I think, in the tech leadership that we have globally across all of these insanely valued companies, is that they will do whatever it takes. And you have people who are like, no, I have a line. Unfortunately, so much of the systems, capitalism, finance, society, are set up that the person who will do whatever it takes will win.
Yep.
And more often than not, that person is likely to be less empathetic. They're likely to, if they stray on the right ethical lines, they're going to go right up to the edge as much as they possibly can and just be inside the line. And they're going to see their financial gains as vindication.
Yeah.
Right. And there are a couple of plot twists in the film that I just think are like, thank God.
Okay.
But I'll say one final thing, which is, I think they intentionally put one character in that you're supposed to like. So like, the kind of classic good guy, bad guy, damsel. There's one person in there that you're supposed to like. And very early on in the film, I was like, I'm not falling for that shit. I ain't falling for it.
I see what you're doing there.
I see what you're doing there.
Uh-huh.
And I was vindicated by the end of the film. Which I think is important that they did that, because I bet a bunch of other people fell for it. Actually, there's one more thing. One more thing that this film confirmed. And this is maybe the inspiration that the rest of us can take away. There is also this idea that the people who are there, the people who are at the top of these tech trees and, the Unicorn Founders Club, they are special people. This film showed that at least 1 in 4 of them, giving something away there, was just in the right flipping place at the right time with a rubbish product, but in the right place at the right time. And that's the only reason that they are part of our common discourse. And the rest of us will look at the amount they've raised. We'll look at the IPO. We'll look at the capitalization. We'll look at the bankers who are banking them. We'll look at all of these things that are supposed to be like trust signals. And we will assume something of their worthiness, when in reality, they're no smarter than us. They haven't done anything all that special other than be in the right place at the right time. And let's not underestimate what it takes to be in the right place at the right time.
Sure.
But still, that's not skill. That's adaptation. That's fortune. That's luck. Were you born there? All of that good stuff. So, I would love to know what our listeners and viewers think of this film, because my gosh, it had me pearl clutching, chest heaving, walking up and down my house. And then at the end of it, I was like, that was a good film, but goddamn, am I pissed.
I have to,
you gotta watch it.
I'll watch it, but I will work my way to it. It'll probably be over a couple of days.
Yeah. You might also, don't watch it on a plane, okay? Because you can't leave the plane. You can't walk away from it. You might be too angry in your seat. So watch it somewhere that you can take appropriate breaks if you need to, if you work in tech. But yeah.
Okay.
Mountainhead.
Mountainhead. Let's do it. Let's see.
We've made this show for you, and we want to hear your stories. We have our combined 35 years experience in tech. We have an incredible bank of experts to call on. We are your safe space. So send us your tech challenges and we'll help you create some draft decisions through some real talk.
You've been listening to me, Mamuna Oladipo.
And me, Oyelayo-Pearson.
Edited and produced by me, Michael Bussa, with theme music by 031 Mash.
Email us at help@lostintechpodcast.com or DM us at lostintechpod.